What is going on, YouTube world? I am Brother Reza, KRT Life with a Y. Like, subscribe, comment, and all that. And today's vlog is my attempt to do a travel vlog. One of the most difficult vlogs you can do with the least amount of stuff. Coming up next. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but I'm going to edit this part out. So anyway, on this trip, I am going to try to do a travel vlog with only an iPhone, editing, recording, everything, and the most minimal amount of equipment you can use, which is going to be this right here. I call it the ugly stick. It is a selfie stick, for lack of better words, and some moment lenses. Honestly, I don't really use the moment lenses as much as I used to since the iPhones have progressed. I feel like the moment lenses kind of mess up the image. So I'm gonna try to capture some footage on this trip, edit it, and do everything on my phone only, and post this to YouTube and see what it looks like. The three things that are gonna make this interesting with the phone and the setup that I'm using is that iPhone struggles with darkness, depth of field, and dynamic range more than anything else. Image stability and all that kind of stuff is actually pretty good. That's the other thing I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna try to finish the whole vlog editing on the way back from Miami.
That's interesting to see.
That means I'm not going to shoot very much content. First of all, one of the cool things about shooting with an iPhone is that, you know, you can manipulate it with your Apple Watch. So I can do things like this here. Let me see if this works real quick. Is it zooming in and out? I think it is zooming in and out. I think I zoomed it all the way in. Let me go all the way out. Yeah, that should be all the way out. Since we all the way out, I can go ahead and talk about the wide angle lens that this thing uses. Now, a lot of times with the wide angle lens, you would get all that noise and it would get really dark, like right now. The vehicle that we're in is heavily tinted and bulletproof, so it's really dark in here. So I'm curious to see what the noise looks like around in the car. And that was one of the reasons why I would use the Moment fisheye and the Moment 18mm lens to try to combat that noise when I would do like a wide angle shot. So when I put this on my phone and look at it and edit the video, I will be able to see how this came out and if the image stability is cool or terrible. Wow, that's an interesting yellow Merc behind us. Maybe I can get it on the camera. Nope, because this Honda is in the way. There it goes. Maybe you can see it now. And while we're talking about that, we can also talk about depth of field. Now, you can see that I'm pretty in focus, and then you can also see that my background is a little blurred, but it's still kind of in focus, like these chairs and stuff. These signs right here, they're kind of in focus. And right now I'm shooting with the front-facing camera, and that's another thing. Front-facing camera, which I wish Apple would make it really, really nice and just as good as the cameras on the back of the phone. It kind of struggles, but I wish that you could, you know, shoot with the a really good front-facing camera that was equivalent to the rear-facing cameras, and also monitor yourself and make sure you're in the frame and shot and everything, but you can't. All right, another great thing to mention about minimalist packing is that all you need is that, and my camera rig is so small I can plop it anywhere and start recording instantly, no problems, and not a bunch of stuff to mess with. So it's definitely great, but not the end all be all. And that is why you want to kind of get a cheap phone or something when you first start vlogging, because, you know, until you learn all these little tricks of like how to position yourself properly and lighting and all this kind of stuff and the differences that it makes on your equipment, it's like before you get a really nice camera, you should learn how to do all this stuff with the phone, I think, first. And then once you master all this kind of basic stuff, then you can move on to an awesome camera and you'll have a better understanding of what you really want and need out of a camera as well. So went out last night, shot some clips and stuff like that in a bunch of nighttime conditions. Some of them came out really cool. There's one shot where we're walking into a hotel and I'm holding the phone in my hand like this, and I'm walking behind my friends going into the hotel, and it looked really, really good because of the lighting and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes the native iPhone app will just shoot really well in the dark, and then there's other times when it won't. I have other footage of me trying to shoot video of this Impala that's right across the street from us, and some of that came out kind of noisy, but the pictures on the other hand came out really good with just the street lights and the moonlight and all that stuff. Let me introduce Rome. He doesn't want to be introduced, never mind. But yeah, so that's one of the things that you got to deal with when you're shooting with the iPhone. Low light is gonna just be what it is. Day 3, still haven't really done much of anything, but I'm still trying to, capture some content and vlog for y'all. This is the wide-facing camera, backside of the wide-facing lens. I don't know why I keep saying camera. Wide-facing lens on the backside of the phone. And I'm walking in a shaded area. I don't know how it looks, especially with all this dark areas, but I'm about to walk over here where it's pretty bright. So let's see how this looks. I don't know, because this is really bright and that's really dark. Dynamic range. How did it turn out? I don't know. And then the colors, the colors here are really vibrant because we're in, South Florida. So really curious what this footage is gonna look like. But I'm about to walk over to the other hotel and meet up with my friends and see where today takes us.
Might leave tonight.
Yeah. I was about to say, man, don't fall in that water.
You married guys.
We ain't got no boat. We got bikes. Actually, the sun is really nice right now. It's almost golden now. Golden now, baby motherfucker. Okay, I've made it to the airport and will be shortly get on my flight to get back home. And then I'm going to, I'm gonna probably edit most of this on the airplane. So we'll see how this comes out. All right, so just finished up the trip and looked at some of the footage, and the footage is actually really pretty decent actually. And I shot all of that footage with just this right here, this little tripod holder thing, and my iPhone 12 Pro Max. I did not use any of the moment lenses. I didn't really feel the need for them. And I didn't even use my go-to ugly stick because we never got on the boat that we were supposed to get on. So what did I think about shooting and editing and filming with the iPhone 12 Pro Max? Well, to go ahead and cut to the chase, I was not blown away. I did not feel like the iPhone 12 Pro Max was that much better than the iPhone 11 Pro that I surrendered to get this phone. The cameras that are on here are really good for a phone camera, but there are some things that I still feel like you just cannot avoid with a while you're shooting with the phone. And that is the things that iPhones struggle with. Depth of field. I mean, you still don't really get that true depth of field when shooting video. Dynamic range, even though there's the HDR in there now, it still is a bit of a problem, and you can still get noise in dark areas when you're shooting two different things that have a high amount of contrast value to it. And shooting in the dark, especially as soon as you go into that ultra wide lens, it just really gets a lot of noise in the image, and it just gets kind of messy and muddy looking. I guess muddy isn't really good. Muddy might be a good way to put that. And the image just overall does not look really good when you go with the ultra wide. The telephoto lens, the 65mm, it's cool, but I'm not really used to it because it punches in so much versus the iPhone 11 Pro. I think that was like a 52mm lens that it was in the telephoto iPhone 11 Pro. Don't quote me. But yeah, so the lenses on here are cool, but they're not without some of the gripes. And one of the things that I really wish that Apple or any phone manufacturer would do is make the front-facing camera as good as, like, the wide camera on the back. So that way you can you can vlog yourself, you can monitor yourself, the camera, the video quality would be good, and yeah, I think that would be like a massive jump forward. And I said I wasn't gonna buy a new iPhone until they did that, and I still went and bought a new iPhone anyway. Woe is me. So anyway, editing on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, what was that like? It actually was not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. If you are familiar with Lumafusion, it pretty much is exactly the same when you use Lumafusion on a phone. Because of all the real estate that you get with a phone of this size, it was very easy for me to manipulate the timeline and to drag and drop videos and to cut and chop and edit and dump stuff and, you know, whatever you have to do while you're vlogging. Well, not vlogging, but editing a vlog. And I felt like it was a pretty good surface to use to actually, like, you know, edit. The only gripes that I have is that with Lumafusion, sometimes you do get these little glitches that happen, and sometimes you might be trying to, like, you know, extend the clip, but then it'll like make you drag and drop the clip. You still get those type of issues when you're using an iPhone to edit video, but I feel like it's a little bit worse because, you know, you got to really like try to like tap whatever you're trying to do versus like when you have something with bigger screen, it's a little bit easier to be more precise in what you're touching and what you're trying to manipulate in the Lumafusion program. But because you have this big screen and this big phone, it's also big and heavy. And as soon as I bought this phone and walked out of the Apple store, I instantly regretted it because when I put it in my pocket, I mean, it was just huge and it just heavy and just weighed my pants down. And it's just, yeah, it's the experience carrying a phone this big is like, at this point, I might as well have a camera. I honestly felt like, because I mean, this thing is just so massive. And yeah, that kind of like negated all the pros that came with this phone to me personally. Is it a good phone if you're coming off of an older phone or if you're coming off of something different? Yes, it is a good vlogging phone if you're coming off, like, let's say, I don't know, iPhone XR or something like that. But if you have an 11 Pro and then you move to this, I really don't think you will be blown away by it. I personally was not, and I wish I still had my iPhone 11 Pro. I'm your brother Reza. This is Carroty Life with the Y. Like, subscribe, comment, all those kind of things. And if you're new to vlogging and you're trying to get into vlogging, this is definitely a great phone. But if you already have an iPhone 11 Pro, I would say stick with that and just get you know, better camera for your like A camera or whatever. And yeah, do that. So we're out. Carroty Life, Carroty Life with the Y. Peace.